meeting for August 28th, 2015. The meeting is being tape recorded. We'll start with the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Rich Filer. Here. Jody Birdie. Here. Linda Quinn.
Here.
Jeremy Rippey. Here. Okay, visitors' comments. Got any visitors' comments?
I have a comment about the minutes, but should I wait till you open it up?
Go ahead.
Looking at the minutes, as you recall, there was a meeting on 8/11. Then there was a meeting on 8/21. And then we're here on 8/28 for the same meeting, the same minutes. However, in looking through the minutes under old business, item 5, it has changed. If the board cares to look at item 5 in the minutes you have in hand and read that, and I'll read what was in the original minutes. It says discussion of billing for bars and apartments. Jeremy Rippey does not want to pay the extra $69 readiness to serve on his bar hotel and wanted it looked into, or he's going to call an attorney. The Water Authority had changed the readiness to serve fee for bars, houses that have apartments or hotels attached. There are several homes that have apartments attached that pay the separate readiness to serve. There have been no other complaints from other customers who were charged this fee, although 2 of the customers did question why the Water Authority made the change. This is to be looked into. I believe, and from what I recall from that meeting, and I sat here through it, this more accurately presents what happened at the meeting rather than the revised statement that you have in your meeting packet. And I think the minutes should not be approved as presented. This should be put back into the minutes. And who made the change and why?
I made the change because I'm the chairman, and
So you make the minutes whatever you want to read, rather than what's
the
accurate.
important details. First of all, there were other complaints. That's why that was taken out.
I think that
Second
is
of
an
all-
important detail, Jeremy.
Okay, well, I don't mind if it's in there or not. I just think you don't need, I try to keep the minutes as simple as possible.
I think it should be in there.
Okay, noted. If you guys want it in there, that's up to you when you approve it.
I see that.
Any other visitors' comments?
I have one also. And it's also about, it's not the true minutes, the meeting packet that we had before, and we had it for 2 or 3 other meetings, is drilled in my head because I was also at the meetings, and it was an accurate report on the July 17, 2015 meeting, when it states, this is the revised one that you want them to see. Members present: Martin Rosenfeld, Jeremy Rippey, unexcused; Joseph Uberti, Richard Filer, unexcused; Anita Johnson, secretary. Members present on the original one said Martin Rosenfeld, Jeremy Rippey, unexcused, and was at the Township meeting 10 minutes before the meeting started and was aware that this meeting was taking place. Joseph Uberti, Richard Filer, unexcused; Anita Johnson, also as secretary. Again, a Jeremy Rippey correction. You don't do it, Jeremy. It has to be, this was passed around at 3 different meetings. We couldn't have it because you didn't have a quorum.
And again, it's something that's untrue. I wasn't here 10 minutes before the
Yes,
meeting.
you were.
No, I wasn't.
You were seen here.
Okay.
So
Well, again,
I would sooner say,
factual minutes
I'm
is
not
what
going
we're
to call
after.
them, this
Noted.
is actual minutes.
It's noted, but no,
It
they're
has
not.
to
They're
be.
not approved, so they're not actual minutes.
Did a secretary take these minutes?
a secretary took those minutes and turned
Right.
them into what she
This
wanted
whole-
them to say.
And you're doing it worse. This whole meeting packet is not, this one that you gave us today, is not an original because Anita did front and back, which a secretary should, to save paper because we got the same thing, Jeremy, 3 times.
Okay. I know
Another one.
if they want to do
the whole
something with it,
thing-
let them do it.
But why are you doing it? Just leave it like it was. We wouldn't have an objection.
You wouldn't.
We were
I have
here.
an objection to things that aren't true.
It was true.
In your opinion, yes.
And you're saying
All
your
right.
opinion.
In your opinion, it's
No, I'm saying, and you're using your opinion.
no. I'm
You
using
can't
facts.
change what an original
Again.
secretary wrote. In the original minutes, they're not even like they were. I mean, if this is how things are gonna continue,
Right.
we better have a crowd. Thank you.
Anybody else, visitors, comments?
Sure. He's actually running a plant now.
Yeah.
Dennis, or-
Yeah.
And CJ, is he?
Not currently, but we're talking to him to see if he wanted to do any of the weekend stuff.
Then Ford is the only employee actually is Taylor.
Taylor and Tyler are both there.
Tyler, CJ's son.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Any other visitors' comments? Okay, approval of the agenda. Anybody have anything else to add to the agenda?
I had a question on the agenda too, in that, if you look at the agenda of August 11th, item 3 was install second meter in all buildings, bars, homes in Jay Township that have apartments or hotels. This seems to have been stricken in the minutes.
It's the item number 5, to readiness to serve, Bob. It's the same. Nobody chose to put that wording on there other than our former chairman. So we're gonna have a discussion about that and a decision will be made.
Okay,
We
so
don't put a
that's-
decision in writing before the board makes a decision.
So
It's not how we
that's
operate.
that's merged in item 5?
That's item 5.
Well, I would thought it would have been related to what was there before.
No? Okay. We're on to the, visitors' comments are over, we're on to approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any other agenda items they'd like to add? If not, can I get a motion to approve the agenda? Can you get a second? All in favor? Aye. Okay, approval of minutes of the regular meeting of July 14th. First page there. Do we have any changes to the minutes from July 14th?
Okay, which minutes are we referring to? The ones in the current meeting packet?
July 14th in our meeting packet.
In your meeting packet. Okay, I want to do a note, my requested change. Is the board going to act on it or not?
If there are no changes, I need a motion to approve. If you want changes, speak up.
Motion.
You want a second? All in favor? Aye.
The motion was for changing or approving?
For approving. What is that? Okay. Then we have the meeting, special meeting of July 17th, 2015. And we have a problem with those minutes, as there was no actual quorum at that meeting. So these minutes are not even legal. The meeting was not legal, so. Anita Johnston had already resigned. Rich and I were not here, so therefore Marty and Joe, there wasn't a quorum. So I mean, we can't approve those minutes. Anything that happened there wasn't legal, in fact.
There wasn't no meeting.
There was no meeting. There should have been no meeting without a quorum.
There was what, 2 meetings without a quorum?
Well, there was this meeting, and then we didn't hold the monthly meeting because we didn't have a quorum. So I don't know, I don't have the quote for Modern for the pump, which is already there. So that needs to be reapproved. Derek already did that work as well, did he not?
Yeah, they went up there yesterday and had to put a booster on it. They broke it.
Modern did, right? I had to put a booster on it.
Yeah, they had to take that.
Well, but I mean, these items would need to be reapproved.
Yeah,
Because this
we'll have to
didn't
go through that.
occur.
You could see that they took the old pump out and replaced it with a bigger pump. Then they said there was something wrong with it. Dennis said, so they had to put back in the rest of it. Another piece off. You know, like that on the old windows.
Yeah, let's move those two.
And then they still won't bring their first pump back.
To old business.
Yeah, they're gonna get the original. I went out there, they were pulling out.
I really don't, I mean, like I said, those things are already done. I don't have the quote, I don't know how to go about reapproving that. I'm gonna, if you want me to set that where it sits right now until we consult the attorney on
I
that.
think we better consult the attorney. I make the move to
Okay, and then the emergency meeting, July the 28th, we need to approve those minutes. So I'll need a motion from you.
I'll make a motion to approve.
For a second, Rich.
So,
That's the one we had been here, and
That's
then
the 28th.
Dennis was gone, and
okay, this is the one. Second.
You gonna second it?
I'll do the second one.
but she can't second that because she wasn't here.
This one here, there was a.
I wasn't there, sorry. I
She did on the other
Oh,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. We're gonna have to go back and change the first one, I didn't realize that, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Richie approved it, and it wasn't here.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's going through. I made a motion, you seconded it.
Okay, all in favor, yeah, you can't vote on those ones because you weren't here. All in favor for the 28th meeting?
Approved.
Aye. Denied. Okay. Let's go back to the July 14th meeting. Motion was made by Linda. Did you move first on that one? I'm sorry. Motion was made by Linda and seconded by
Richie,
Richie.
and he
So
wasn't
I
here.
need a motion. It has to be from Joe and I. So need a motion for the July 14th meeting, Joe. For myself.
Okay, let me look here. July 14th. This one didn't have a quorum either, did it?
Yeah.
It did, Marty, you, I, and Anita.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Okay, I'll second. And we're the only two that can vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, now we're straight, I believe. Okay, those are just the approval of the minutes. Let's go to the treasurer's report. And I'll read it off. Balance in the checking account as of June 30th, 2015, $73,350.03. Total deposits, $82,550.27. Readiness to serve, J Township, $34,721. Consumption revenue J, $44,415.52. Reconnect, $50. Return from Lowe's, $33. Record request, $2.25. Capital improvement, $3,211.80. Number of water coupons, 429. Accounts payable was $48,352.66. The balance in the checking account as of July 31st, 2015 is $107,547.64. First Commonwealth Savings Account, Capital Improvement Account, balance in the savings account as of June 30th, 2015, $5,655.56. Interest income, 77 cents. Capital improvement deposit, $3,211.80. Balance as of July 31st, 2015 is $8,868.13. M&T Bank checking account, balance as of June 30th, 2015, $51,796.44. Total deposits, interest income, $1.20. Nothing in accounts payable. Balance as of July 31st, 2015 is $51,797.64. And approval of the bills. You have a motion?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Consent order reimbursements, there were none for July. So correspondence. Patrick Mulcahy from Eves, Resource Development Plan Revisions, Certificate of Completion, Burndale Well. Jim Castleberry, Dennis Beck, Gauging Stations for Kersey and Burns Run. Dennis Beck, letter of resignation. Marty Rosenfeld, letter of resignation. Anita Johnston, letter of resignation. Delinquencies. I have no idea at the moment. Without a secretary. Maintenance report from Dennis. Do you normally read that, Dennis, or do you?
No, just the board reviews it, if anybody has any questions.
So the maintenance report's there in time. Look it over. If you have any questions, Dennis is here.
Is it all online yet? No. Maybe like a half a day's work. Let's get the scale.
And then after the maintenance report, his operator's report is there on the same page.
Just the wire.
Do you guys have any questions on this?
Dennis, everything's been running smoothly.
Yes,
Still working on the well.
yes, they probably have a half a day's work up at the well, most of it's just wiring and getting the SCADA system hooked into it, so it's not gonna take long. We had an issue with the flows on the streams. We had an issue with the flow on the two supply streams as to whether we're required by GEP to let so much water go past our intake for the fish. Okay? The two probes we have out there that measure the flow right now are showing below the bypass. And the proposal from Castleberry is to recalibrate those probes quarterly for the next year, which is required through the consent order. But we need them to come up as soon as possible, and when and if that's approved, I'll call him and try to get him up here.
Okay.
If we don't have enough water through the bypass, we have to do some things. We have to use the smallest pump we have to throttle it back. If there's still not enough, there's a possibility we may have to issue a conserved water notice to the community to try to use less water so we can put more water in the stream. I came up this morning because I wanted to double check how much water is in the stream. I got up here at 10 till 6 this morning. There's a couple methods you can use by measuring flows in the stream. I use the orange method. And what you do is you find a uniform section of stream. I found one that's 22 feet long, 15 feet wide, measured depths, average depths across it, at the top and the bottom, all right, and then floated an orange from the top to the bottom and timed it. And through that, my numbers show that we have enough water in Burns to keep pulling water out of Burns. We're not below the bypass. The reason the gauges probably are not reading correctly is because we've had 3 really big storms since the last time he calibrated those. And if it gets mud in there or the bottom changes, which it probably did because we had some 3 doozies coming down here, it'll change the reading on the probe. So he really has to come and recalibrate that to get an accurate reading. But I did it physically. And I did 3 bypasses with the orange to get an average time on how long it took. So I sent an email to Lisa, and I'm going to call her when I go back. But I think we're all right. I think we have enough flow according to my calculations that we're not below the bypass. So she'll probably make us keep an eye on that. That's the only issue that we really have right now.
I got a question for you, Dennis. Why didn't you use an apple instead of an orange?
Because an orange, they want something that's a quarter above the water and 3/4 of it below the water. And an orange usually
That's
fits
what-
that.
That's the right
Fits
gauge,
that.
yeah.
I've done sticks, I've done tennis balls, I've done apples, I've done oranges. I've done anything I could find.
Can they
I've
approve
done
that?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't do it for DEP, but I did it for other areas where I.
It's
have to
the
make it
density of the orange and the.
Yeah, the density of the orange will
Three-
keep it 3/4 of the way under.
Underwater.
Because the flow on top is faster than the flow at the bottom
Mhm.
of the stream.
Okay.
So they want something that's kind of mostly submerged to get an average. And then there's a fudge factor that you have to put in there when you finally get your final answer, so.
Yeah.
But I do that with the tanks. We have a problem with the elevation gauge at Gardner Hill. We have to get that replaced, so we're physically measuring it from the top of the tank about 3 times a week.
Right.
For DEP, so they want to know how much water is in there. When we ran short about a month ago, she wants to make sure we have enough water.
That's a good explanation in using that type of fruit. And I was
Yeah.
curious to know why.
Yes, question.
Yeah, I have a question for you,
Yes.
Dennis. A month ago, when we had that problem with the tank,
Yes,
since then, I live on Polk Street in Burndale at the top of the hill, just a little bit below the height of the Burndale tank. And our water tastes like sulfur. So I called the DEP,
Mhm.
and it was a day that they were gonna be here anyhow, so
Okay.
I didn't cause any stir.
yeah,
But they were here when I made the phone call. And they told me that they tested like a house in Scattertown, which
Right.
is far from my
Right.
house. A house down this way
Right.
somewhere that is also far from Burndale.
right,
They told me that because my house is old, now, my house is one of the top 5 newer houses in Burndale.
Yeah.
And it was built 38 years ago. I mean, it might be newer than, older
Yeah.
than now,
Most-
but I'm new in Burndale. And they said that the type of, being that the water went down and we did, for a while there, we didn't have any pressure.
Yeah.
That the type of lines that we have, just for that little bit of time, got bacteria in it. Now, I had both of those people tell me that. I don't believe any of it.
yeah.
There's something that, because we're close.
Right. I'll get your address and we'll come up and see what you have.
We'll
Still
go
have
out
it?
today, we're getting plumbing, we're getting our bathroom remodeled, so
Okay.
we got people there. Yeah, I don't drink it. Now, I told them, I'm paying my bill, I've never been late.
Mhm.
I expect quality water. Now, I'm drinking water that is brought in to me from someplace else, because I have to take medication 3 times a day. And I need to drink water that when you put the glass up to your face, I can smell this smell. I'm not saying it is actually sulfur, but in my head, I'm thinking, what else smells like that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, when that.
They didn't offer to come to my house,
Yeah.
but, they were already here. But they're saying the type of lines I have. My lines are newer than almost anybody in Burnville.
Um, After the tank went down,
Right.
we took our chlorine residual, usually runs around one part, 1.2 parts.
Right, they told me that.
Okay, we took it up to a part and a half,
Yeah. they
just
told
in
me that.
case there was anything out in the system,
Right.
to take care of it, and it's back down again now.
They're 38 years old.
But we'll come up.
Yeah, it doesn't taste good.
Give me, I'll get your phone number and we'll give you a call.
The last house on Polk Street.
Okay.
I'm usually there all the time.
Okay,
Thank
all
you.
right, we'll check it.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Dennis. Let's go to the engineer's report. Does everybody have a copy of their engineer's
Before we do
report?
that, Carol, before we go to the engineer's report, we'll have to approve.
See, I'm gonna be excused, I got some phone calls.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Dennis.
Make a motion to approve about these gates.
They're on the new business there, Joe. They're on new business. Does everybody have?
You mentioned the board, we got,
I don't think that Linda got one. You don't have an engineer's report.
really engagements. You have to hear the calendar according to DEP.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
got. Talk now, right, so we have to.
We'll get to that when we get there. It's already done.
Yeah, yeah, she did.
We're just making a copy of the engineer's report for Linda, and then
What about the rest of us?
you can get a copy anytime you want. It's part of our meeting packet, but
It's not in our meeting packet.
Here.
do you need it right now, or if you want to get them
Well, I
after
can
the
know what's
meeting, we
going
can
on.
get them after the meeting. I mean, it's.
Was that okay? I'll leave a message
That
to
was
your
the
wife.
first meeting, that's why.
Okay. Did you understand my writing?
This is your copy here.
Did you see?
Yeah, I get it. I didn't get this one. Let me look at yours.
That's for the Davies station. You don't have one of them, Joe?
No,
That one there from that last couple of times, or, oh, that's right.
We got it.
Did you make any extra? All right, the engineer's report,
Right. Do you want one,
Yeah.
the monthly progress report,
Fran?
July 6th, the conference call with SRBC, July 14th. Representatives from Eads and the Water Authority met to discuss additional numbers to be included in the research development plan and what was still needed before submitting the construction completion package. July 21st, Eads Group completed and submitted the revised resource development plan for the SRBC. July 27th through 31st, representatives from the Eads Group and the Water Authority were on site at Burndale Well, coordinating with several contractors what outstanding issues needed rectified before the construction completion packet could be submitted. July 29th, Burndale Well was filled, flushed, and chlorinated. At 7 p.m., the bacteria sample was taken from the blow-off by the analyzer building and delivered to Analytical Services. On July 30th, the new 20 horsepower 7-stage well pump and the pitless adapter were installed along with the piping to raise the wellhead greater than 18 inches above the existing grade. The second bacteria sample was taken and delivered to Analytical Services. July 30th, 2015, representatives from the Eads Group submitted the construction completion packet, not including the bacteria samples via overnight mail to DEP. July 31st, which was the deadline on this stuff, representatives from the Eads Group submitted a complete construction completion pack, including the bacteria samples via email to DEP. So that's the well was assembled, tested. I know Joey's just said, I know one of them's coming back in. They just put another booster on that 20 horsepower pump. Dennis had mentioned that that was
Yesterday, I think they're gonna do that.
because of the pressure in the well. They
Some-
needed a little
some
extra
issue, yeah.
to overcome the pressure in the well, pushing it in there. Other than that, that's where we're at. I know since then, DEP has sent notice to Dennis that probably around September the 11th, they will inspect. That was their tentative date, September 11th, to inspect the well. And they still have a few things going on up there between now and then. But this kept us on time with the consent order. When the well is complete, we can go on to the filter media, but not until the well's online and complete.
That
So
sounds reasonable.
The engineer's report and on to old business, the status of the consent order, that's where we're at in the consent order. The well is complete, waiting to be inspected. After that, we can go on to the media rebid.
You have copies of the completion reports, Jeremy?
I don't know if we have them here, let's see. But we do have them.
From DEP and each?
I don't have them with, no, we don't have them here with us, but I'm sure we have them. If we can't, we'll get them. If we don't, we'll get them. And now we need to break, oh, okay. We do have a copy from DEP. Just saying, the completion.
Okay, I'd like to have a copy of that, if possible, or just look at it.
Yeah, okay. All right, so now we need to break for an executive session to discuss personnel. Session was obviously personnel, dealing with number 1, hiring a secretary. Also, we need to add number 7, which would be Dennis Beck, a per diem discussion we need to have about Dennis Beck. So, new business, hiring a secretary.
Thank you.
We had 3 qualified applicants and obviously had to have a lengthy discussion, but can I get a motion for a secretary?
I motion, Jamie.
May I ask who you said 3 people?
Yes. We had 3, who they were.
Yeah.
Jamie Filer, Julia Kumamoto, and Lisa Browse. Okay, so we have a motion for Jamie Filer. Do we have a second?
Second, Jamie.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Richard.
Right. Okay, so there's our secretary hire. We need to reorganize. So under our reorganizing, first of all, we need to appoint our secretary treasurer, which would then be Jamie Filer. So we need a motion to appoint Jamie Filer as secretary treasurer.
So moved.
Get a second. Joe, can I get a second on that?
Yeah, I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
So just me.
Okay. We need a motion for chairman.
I move Jeremy.
Richie motioned already, got to speak up, so she didn't hear you now.
Second.
Okay, very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Hmm?
Do I vote on that?
You can. It's
Aye.
fine.
Okay, the vice chairman. Motion for the vice chairman. I'll make a motion for Richard Filer, vice chairman.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. CPA audit. I talked to Mr. Wagner and told him how the secretary left and the chairman left abruptly, and that I felt slightly uncomfortable about the way everybody just left abruptly, and I'd like to have things looked at to make sure all of our accounts are correct and in balance, and what's being presented here in our minutes is what we have, and all the checks have cleared that are supposed to clear and not. He strongly recommended that. I talked to one CPA agency, and they said they wouldn't be able to get in for like at least 2 months, so we need to make a few calls if the board so decides, but I think it's just good business practice to make sure everything's up to snuff. The Troxels and Dubois I talked to,
I
Linda
talked
talked to.
to the surrounding stuff over on Beaver Drive yesterday.
If anybody has any suggestions, I'll maybe make some calls and see if somebody can come in, just give us a snapshot of where we're at and make sure everything's accurate up until this point in time in the year, because we haven't even got our 2014 audit back yet. We won't get this audit back till next, the 2015 audit back till next year. We don't want to wait that long to find out if there was something done wrong or if the accounts are out of balance. So I just need a motion to go out and find a CPA. We have another meeting coming up early in September. I can get some prices and some information and
I make a
bring it
motion to
back
get
to
some
the table.
prices from, I'd say at least 2 or 3.
I'll try to get 3. Like I said, the first call I made, they said they wouldn't be able to get here for 2 months. It really isn't going to help with the cost either. But somebody will be able to get in there. I'll try to get at least 3 prices on the table for us. So we got a motion on the table. Can we get a second for that?
Jeremy, I have a
Yes.
question. Is there some reason that you're not gonna get the auditor that we already have?
I can call him again for a price. He's auditing right now our,
Well, yeah,
previous year, so I don't think I'll call him. He'll be in my list.
I thought maybe it would be a better chance of getting in, being that it was already the auditor.
Yeah, we'll check with him. We will.
Well, did you get that back because there was an invoice in there?
We got an invoice, but I have yet to see it. The actual audit, I don't know if it's up there in the office somewhere, but the board members never received the actual audit, so I agree with you. I thought the invoice was there. Usually the audit comes before the invoice, but again, that would be.
Usually you have to go pick it up.
Okay, so that might be it too, maybe. she
It
would
might
pick
be
up
waiting over
before-
there just for you to
Right.
pick it
And
up.
I'll be getting him on the phone to talk to him, but I don't want to take any action without board. We have a second on that. Second, okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, gauge stations is what Dennis was talking about. We have a letter there from Castleberry. They, by consent order, have to be calibrated quarterly, every 3 months. There's a price there for the full year of $3,420. Talked to Dennis about that and said that possibly this is something they could do long-term. Right now, with everything they have going on, they don't know how to do it, and they don't have the time to develop or to focus to it, but they would like to go out, at least send one guy out there, maybe Tyler with Castleberry, learn how to do this in the future so we could avoid this long-term. But for right now, this has to be done. Like he told you, we're already having trouble with the bypasses, so everybody's looked at it, and I just need we know we have to do it. We just need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Uh,
Aye. 2 readiness to serve and credit bills appropriately, if that's what we decide. I brought it up that this is, you can't charge 2 readiness to serves with 1 meter. It's not legal. And so I believe we need to remedy that. You can talk amongst you. I'm not going to vote on it, so the 3 of you can decide what you want to do with it. But that practice was put in place without somebody doing the proper research on it. I mean, if you have 1 meter, you pay 1 readiness to serve.
I agree. 1 meter.
So that was put in, would have to be removed if that's the way you want it. If you want it, you couldn't put 2 meters on my building. I have 2.5 bathrooms and a couple of sinks. You know what I mean? I don't know where you'd put a 2nd meter or how you would divide my plumbing up in order to serve a 2nd meter. That's my own, and I know that, places that have 2 meters, I believe is on demand of what they need for that particular building. But again, I'm not voting on it, so you guys decide what you want to do with it and make your motions in seconds and.
So you're gonna make a motion to eliminate that?
What?
Whatever they call it.
What?
They put those 2 readiness to serve on 1
How would
meter.
you say that?
That's what they're current.
It's how it's being built.
That's how it's being
Ready to
built.
serve on 1 meter.
2 readiness to serve on 1 meter for a list of bars, restaurants, hotels, motels. There's a list,
So who is it? It's everybody in the Valley of Martin.
but it was. I mean, some of them were exempt according to a PLCB exemption, which is irrelevant to the size or the bathrooms or the water usage of a building, but I brought all that up at the last meeting.
But I mean, all the bars except for,
There were ones that had exemption. The exemption is from the LCD. It's a hotel license can get an exemption to not use their hotel rooms as hotel rooms. They can use them as apartments, they can use them as storage, they can use them as licensed serving areas.
like Force Hotels, they have pretty much.
Right. But those ones that are exempt are still using those portions of their buildings as living spaces and apartments and everything in between. So that really had no bearing one way or the other on the fact. But what it boils down to is the practice is one readiness to serve per meter is what's legal.
It's like 12 cents, isn't it?
What do you think?
1 meter, 1 readiness.
The reason I put credit bills on there, I don't know how many, I didn't send in the second readiness to serve with my bill because I knew it was illegal and I wasn't going to pay it. I don't know how many people did. So when we get the secretary in there, they would have to find out if people already paid and then credit that back to their next billing.
You know, the only other exception would be like the terrace, because they have one big meter. They have each room.
The senior citizens.
Yeah, the terrace, but
That's
that's government. That falls in the whole.
They pay, I don't know how they pay that.
Yeah, that's in a whole different category.
It's on a
Each room pays a
separate contract or something.
Medical readiness, I think. Am I right, am I wrong? No?
I don't know why we have, that is listed.
Maybe they just pay the use. I'm not sure how it works. I'm saying 1 meter, 1 readiness.
Yes.
Do we have a motion for that?
Well, wait, how are you gonna do this comparison?
We don't know how they're set up.
Well, don't you think you should get the facts for the vote?
We'll look into the terrace, that's for sure.
I mean, you have, well, let's go.
That, we've already looked into the terrace, and there's an agreement signed there, that was arrived at.
That's
Federal
that's
state.
housing, that's.
Federal and state.
Well, not-
that's
We
separate.
can determine that.
It's
I mean,
not,
with an
That's a
attorney or
separate set of
something,
rules,
but-
so you gotta check that out. The attorney's gotta, that has to go with the attorney.
Federal and state subsidized. I don't know how they're set up. Does each room pay a readiness?
there is 1 meter in each room is assessed the readiness to serve
Well, there's
charge.
a meter in each room?
No, there is 1 meter for the whole complex, and then each occupied apartment, because if if they don't have an occupied apartment, then they don't pay for that month. But you take, I think there's, 22 apartments there? So you take 22 apartments times $69 a quarter, and that's what they pay for readiness to serve. Then they pay consumption on top of that.
Do they divide it?
They have a large meter. It's
Yeah.
we're gonna have, as far
One
as,
big meter.
yeah, as far as that's concerned, I think we need to look into
1,000
that
gallons is
further.
divided between one
Because that's kind of like the trailer park up there, you know, I mean, it's one of those things that comes up, they have a larger meter, they pay a larger readiness to serve based on the size of their meter plus usage. That's not the way it's set up at the terrace, but it needs to be determined which is the proper way to go there. But that's the way it's been since they put it in there, nothing has changed from this board, that's the way they've always done it, and there's an agreement there somewhere, so we need to find that agreement. But this has changed, and we know that this is not legal.
Okay, well, Grawley's up there, it's the same building, but they have 2 meters there. Somebody should give them a heads up and tell them they should consolidate to 1 meter. I mean, I think Franny did that at his place. I mean, that should
Right,
be,
if they have multiple apartments, maybe they have 2 taps then, if they have 2 meters?
I guess so,
I would assume they have 2 taps, and
But it's
probably
in-
based on how much water they want. Yeah, I
but
mean,
it's in the same building.
You have to have 2 taps.
right, but if you have 2 taps separated out for 2 apartments, that's because you feel you need that amount of water.
Well, I mean, a 5/8 inch meter would apply or supply 2 apartments, I'm sure of that. So, I mean,
They bought your house.
Grove Apartment.
Stanley Grove,
But I would say that one line coming in, 1 meter, one readiness, makes sense, doesn't it?
Well,
But then you get into
He's
these
got-
government subsidized buildings, which they got everything tangled up, and then you get into
that
different.
government subsidy has nothing to do with it that I see. I mean, they put in one tap because of convenience and you can see them
We'll look
doing
into the
that.
terrace deal.
It's one reading.
What do you
I think they're going within, in their rent, or within monthly rent. I don't think they individually, they don't individually get the water bill. I think it's
No.
in with their rent.
no.
Because it
Dick
is,
Wood's apartment goes empty, Dick calls the water, it says apartment number 22 is empty. That month or 2 months, they don't charge them.
Okay, then you also have businesses in this township that are on the same property, in separate building on the same property, fed by a common water meter. And you pay one readiness to serve charge. Is that right?
I don't believe that's right.
Well, this board.
Separate buildings should be, if they're using water in separate buildings.
This board should get the posting report and sit down and go through it and understand how all these bills are being done, because there's a lot of unfairness here.
Well,
I mean, you have
Again-
Charlie Browse up there in different buildings, he pays for 2 different taps. But then you have other businesses here in 2 different buildings and they're paying for 1 tap.
yeah, we can review all of that when we get to, you
I
know,
would say each building, each meter, one readiness.
what's been in place for
Thank you. Yeah.
25 years, we'll have to review, but I mean, that's not an immediate thing to change, it's been that way, then we can sort it out. So where are you at on this one? Did you get a motion and a second on this one with your, on numbers 5? You have a motion,
1 meter, one readiness.
did you
Go ahead and
motion?
make your motion.
1 meter,
I make the motion, 1 meter, 1 readiness.
we have a second. Linda made a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I'm abstaining. Good. New attorney, I've been in the conversations with Mr. Wagner, which were only by email because I called him the day after our first meeting where we had no quorum, and never got back to me, and I called him the second time, and he didn't get back to me, so I sent an email to the office, and he responded with he was really swamped and doesn't have time right now to make calls, and then I responded back with about what had happened, auditing, I asked about auditing the books, and asked if, point blank, if he had time to deal with this, because it's a transition time, and he responded back, no, he does not, but he recommended out of his office Brad Kraus. Before we take that recommendation, we should, at the next meeting, I could get some prices on attorneys and their hourly rate and bring in and have some options, you know what I mean?
It would be nice to show.
He's still our attorney for now, but he's
Right.
pretty much told us that he doesn't have time. He does have other people in his office, or we could look elsewhere. So that's where we're at with that, and that's why I added it on there.
I think we have to get a minimum of 3 with an attorney, and we'll open them,
Yeah, oh yeah,
You can't
at
do
least
without a
3. I
solicitor.
mean,
so.
You're right. He's still gonna be our solicitor, but he says he doesn't have time to do everything that's done. It works.
Right, and
So
again,
we'll look around and see what else is available.
all right, we'll just get some quotes, maybe the new secretary can make a call that we get, I mean, if anybody had anybody in mind.
There has to be a bunch of attorneys now that you could.
But they have to know municipal law.
Municipal is the,
They have to
municipal
know
is the key.
municipal.
Yes,
Most of them
municipal is
don't.
the key.
They can't be a divorce lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, Wagner said Kraus has some municipal experience, and Wagner would be there, obviously,
To coach
to
them.
coach him along, so that is what he's suggesting. Again, that's one option, and I think we should find a couple others to
Well, I
compare.
think he'll come down on his price since he's not doing it.
No, he didn't give me the rate, I'm sure it's still billed at his rate, even though it's some, yeah. So that's where we're at, we'll try to get a few quotes for the next meeting. And then number 7, Dennis Beck, per diem. Dennis is driving 90 miles one way to get here to work. He asked us about mileage, and he said mileage would be almost $100 a day for him round trip. Didn't want to do that to the authorities. We're currently paying him $22 an hour, which comes out to $176 a day. He'd asked for a per diem of $200 a day, cover his fuel. The rest of it, whether he's up here for 4 hours, 8 hours, or 10 hours, he's asking for that flat rate of $200 a day. The only time he's here for less than 8 hours a day is Saturdays or Sundays, when he has to come in, which he's trying to get away from anyway.
Yeah, he doesn't want to do the 3-hour days anymore. When he does come up, when I talk to him, he wants to do like the 8, 10 hour, whatever.
8 hours has been normal with this
Because
good
he-
weather, but when we get bad weather, it jumps to
Yeah, he
10,
knows,
12 hours, or more.
yeah, he knows it'd be wrong to come up for 2 hours and charge per game, at 200. But- So he wants it, whenever he comes up, he wants to do, try and do the 8 or more.
Yeah, he's asking for $200 a day. He's also, long term, he wants to get somebody trained, go back to his weekend role, and eventually retire. So that's all discussions that we've had since he turned in his resignation and then later on rescinded it. But I think that's more than fair compared to if he starts requesting mileage. We'll be paying him almost $300 a day with mileage,
So I
So,
make a motion, we pay him 200 straight flat fee a day.
yeah.
The man seems to be pretty reasonable on not overtaxing the water company. He's trying to, do it the cheapest way, give us a break,
All right, we have a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Jeremy, did you say you rescinded on his resignation letter?
Yeah.
You have that documented in the minutes? Because here it says the resignation, but.
We had it in there in the correspondence. He didn't put any correspondence in, but we'll note it in the next minutes.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll bring that item there. All right, if there's nothing else, you just
Hey,
need a
one more
motion.
question. Who are the employees for the authority now? I mean, there's been so much.
Dennis is still a licensed operator.
So Dennis is recognized as a licensed operator?
Yes. Tyler Miles is working under Dennis, and Taylor Safety is the maintenance guy. And he's also learning to do some of the stuff in the plant, but at a slower pace because of all the well projects still going on. So there's,
Now, Miles Tyler is going back, or Tyler Miles, he's going back to the plant now. I heard he was doing the administrative office work.
no, he's in the plant.
He's in the plant.
Yes.
Okay.
He's actually trained to do everything that Dennis does. And he's already taken some tests and passed a few, and he's doing really well.
Okay, now Taylor,
Taylor's just the maintenance guy right now.
does he have aspirations to get
Yes,
his license?
yeah, he's starting to run a few basic tests, but he's been really busy with the well project, so clean up. We're getting there.
Okay, there was, I thought Eric Johnson was a backup operator. Is he still the backup operator or no?
I don't know who they have listed as, if they have, I think Eads is
Eads is
backup.
backup.
Yeah, I don't think Derek is anymore.
I believe it's Eads.
Eads is listed as a backup.
But does Eads really have the credentials? Because he had some issues and they didn't seem to want to get involved, I heard.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either. I mean, it was a short notice type thing. And again, we're trying to talk with CJ to see if he's willing to do some backup stuff on the weekends, but we haven't got that conversation hashed out
But
yet.
any crisis is short notice. You don't get notices on crises.
Right.
And it's good to have
I don't,
somebody in mind.
we're working on it.
Okay, so you don't know if Eric Johnson is the backup or he's not?
I believe it's Eads is the backup.
Okay, Eads is the backup and Eric Johnson is out of the picture then?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I understood that whoever the operator was that had their license hanging in the building could have an assistant report to them, say like Dennis is the operator, and he has his license there, with this Tyler.
Yeah, so he can have anybody working in there that he trusts to work under his
And
license.
still report back to Dennis, which is 100 miles away. and
Well,
it still
yeah,
work.
it's all-
Any operational change got to be
Yeah, yeah.
approved by a licensed operator, but when the change is made, he can be remote, but he has to understand what the change is going to be before.
But Dennis doesn't want to be there all the time because he has grandchildren who wants to go to their birthday.
Until the consent order's over, he's required to be in there at least once a day, or twice a day, actually. Once a day to do testing,
After the
pre-testing,
consent
and
order's over.
finish that. He has to be there according to the consent order every day. That's why he's been here every day.
Yeah,
We're trying to avoid that by getting another licensed operator like CJ to come in on the weekend, so he doesn't have to drive up here for 3 hours on a Saturday. And Eads has been serving in that role, they did last weekend. So that's where we're at with that, but, okay.
So after we get through this consent order, things are gonna change, and when's that gonna end, that consent order?
As soon as the,
Well's on. So that's
filter
gonna be
meeting is
soon.
done, and then they go through everything and make sure. It should be before the end of the year. Or by the end of the year. Okay. So, we need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.